doesn't matter if you have shadow people who follow you through the park. You have a friend in Gary Anderson and Night Dreams After Dark.
From our compound, from the West Coast to the East Coast to worldwide, both on the internet and terrestrial radio, you're listening to Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.
And here I am. And it's definitely After Dark. We got Tim Swartz on here. Hey, Tim, now getting back, what is your honest feeling about time travel? I mean, we all have our own feelings. I feel it's really possible. I do feel we can go forward and back in time, and I really think it's been going on for quite a few years, longer than we can imagine, probably hundreds of years, if not thousands of years.
I do. I mean, I do think that at least sometime in our future, and that time travel will be possible, will be, accomplished. Now, of course, you have people who say that we've already, perfected time travel, maybe as early as the 1960s. One of the things that I think could be possible if time travel is a reality that was developed in what would be our future, is that these future time travelers are teaming up with other people, other scientists and what have you from different timelines. There are stories where witnesses in what they think are UFO encounters, but which actually could be time traveler incidents, where they report that when they're on board these ships or taken to a different location, that there are several different groups of beings that look different. You have, say, like the what are called the tall Nordics, which are tall people with almost albino type of characteristics, maybe long blonde hair, very blue eyes, and then the classical gray types of aliens. But then with them would be what would be just basically indistinguishable humans. People wearing three-piece suits with sunglasses and notepads, taking notes on what's going on. So some of these incidents that we hear about where allegedly, say, like the United States government or other governments on the planet have come into contact and have actually assisted with these extraterrestrial beings, could be have established some kind of secret relationship with our future time travelers. And again, we get into this whole, kind of like the science fiction types of stories of the time police, where you have future time travelers who have come to the past to try to, like you said in the first segment of the show, to try to fix some of the problems that have appeared in the future, or, you take it a step further, coming back into the past to try to fix the problems that were created by earlier time travelers who, came into the past and screwed things up even worse.
Well, if they did a good job. I mean, maybe, though, they maybe can help us from maybe going to the point where we're extinct, to maybe buy us more time. I am really concerned about our future. So, time travel or anything, if there are any out there that's listening to to the show, Time Travelers, I'd really like to hear from you, because you can get a hold of me at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on the show. But the way things are going, I'm just really scared. I'm petrified, because I have a whole mess of, grandkids. And, they ask me at times, well, when I get your age, what do you think it's going to be like? Do you tell them that, it's not going to be anything like you see now?
Well, it's especially frustrating, when you try to make a difference in our world currently, and try to make a difference that would have a positive effect on, like you said, future generations, only to see and hear other people on this planet say, "Oh, that's just all, that's all just hogwash." There's nothing that that people can do that's gonna mess up the world or mess up civilization. They're saying this while dumping their cigarettes on the road and throwing their plastic bottles into the ocean, and things like that. And it's just, it frustrates me because, the Earth has an amazing ability to heal itself. I mean, we've seen that from the past, where there has been, terrible cataclysms, asteroids blasting a continent away completely and destroying almost 90% of life, and in a couple of 30 or 40 or 50 million years, the Earth looks pretty good. Life's abundant again. However, the Earth is very good at fixing itself. People, not so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we make the world to a point where it's so totally messed up that it's almost impossible for human beings to live, well, it's almost like a dog shaking fleas off of its back. Humans can destroy themselves, and in a few million years, the Earth will be fine. We'll just be forgotten. We'll just be forgotten. Can't put it. Everything that we have produced, buildings, even metal, plastics, in a few million years will be completely gone. There may be a couple of small bits here and there that may be able to be found in deep strata, but everything that we know will be totally gone in just a few million, maybe even less than that. I think that we are not the only advanced civilization that has lived on this planet.
No, I agree.
I think there have been others.
I think we've been probably rebooted 2 or 3 times, Yeah, and that's the scary part. And the thing is, I hate the way we're going, and it's happening fast. And what I don't understand, the average person, as long as it doesn't affect their job, and employment and their relationship with their family, they don't seem to care. I will say this, the EPA has been stripped. All these laws that have been made for the last 20 some odd years have been thrown out the window. And it really, this is one time we should be really enacting on these laws that were originally passed and really doing something about it. And instead, we're turning our head and saying, well, it creates jobs by throwing all these laws out. Yeah, well, you're also taking a gun, right, and loading a couple rounds in it and playing Russian roulette. Eventually, you're going to pull the hammer back and pull the trigger. You're going to kill yourself.
Right. Well, people have such short memories. I mean, they have forgotten how it was not that long ago in the past, before we had a lot of these, environmental regulations. You had that river, what was it, the Cayuga River in Cleveland, that was so polluted it caught on fire.
Oh, yeah.
A river caught on fire.
Yeah.
But and now the potential is even worse. because we've developed even more terrible chemical compositions and have drilled more holes and wells to bring out the oil and natural gas and things like that. I mean, right now we need environmental protection a lot more than we really did in the past. And like you said, the EPA is being gutted right now, so it will probably be at least 50 years.
We don't have it
before anybody is able to reenact some of the regulations that has been taken away, and by then we'll be back to to burning rivers again.
Oh, more than that. We'll be like, hey, you want to buy some property where Florida was, where you can, put your houseboat on? I mean, that's what's the scary part is people don't realize what our future is going to be. There's big companies coming in my state of Washington and buying water rights of rivers and wells and stuff like that, because they're not doing it to bottle water right now. They're just buying the rights because they know what the future is going to be.
Sure.
It's scary. They're speculating, hey, if we buy all these water rights, we can make a fortune when all of a sudden water becomes a very, short supply.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, and it all of this really comes down to to money, to the mighty dollar. If somebody found a way that people could get rich off of protecting the environment, as rich as polluting it, then we'd be set. But no, it's unfortunately in our world currently, it's just the opposite. And and this goes into the whole scenario of alternative sources of energy. A lot of the problems that we are having today is because the world basically runs off of oil. And it's not just using oil to make gasoline and cars and plastics and things like that. Oil is really has surpassed gold as the main monetary system on this planet. And any hint that somebody has come up with a way to generate energy that would supplant oil, oddly enough, those people have mysterious deaths, disappear. Their whatever they've come up with is branded hoaxes. We've seen some very interesting inventions come up with over the years that would have the potential of really destroying the whole oil-based monetary system on this planet. And how many of them right now, Gary, do you think are available to us?
Not many.
I can't think of any.
Well, I got a little story. Okay, my dad was an electronic engineer. He worked at Boeing's. He worked on the SST project. Developing electronic devices for the SST. Now, my dad was very naive. He had a shop. You wouldn't believe, electronic shop out of our house where I grew up in, and every day after work, he would spend hours, inventing stuff. My dad invented the solid-state ignition system.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? He started contacting, I'm not going to mention the company. They're still in business. And their engineers would contact him by mail, and all of a sudden they would come over